Hello and welcome to my channel, Distinctive Crochet. My name is Priscilla and I would like to thank all my new subscribers for coming to check me out and all my return subscribers for spending some time with me. Alright everyone, today is Monday, so it's time to work your whips Monday. Now last week I was telling you guys, last week actually I finished my sideways summer tee. So that is completely finished, and if you missed any of those, I will go ahead and link that playlist down below where you can check it out. And I was telling you guys that I wanted to start something new, and it's gonna be like a cardigan poncho, cardicho. I don't know, probably not a good name, but anyway. So I darkened the picture up that I drew last week. So this is what it looks like. So it's gonna have the two fronts like a cardigan, but I'm gonna have these pieces join it in the middle. I'm not for sure how long they're gonna be, but that's kind of like the idea that I have. And then I wanted to do the same detailing on the side, and so that way it'll pretty much be open, but where it's nice and light for the summer, but at the same time it'll still give me the coverage that I like to have when when I'm out. So that is my plan for that. And I was not supposed to, but I was hoping to be able to get some time to work on it throughout the week where I can go ahead and get it started. But I didn't get the time that I wanted, so I don't have a plan for it yet. But I'm hoping that I can get one done today, and then maybe next week start on it. So what I'm going to be doing is swatching. Now I was thinking about using this yarn here, which is it's the cotton Etlin, and this is the color mauve, and so it is 80% cotton, 20% linen, and I thought that would be a really good fabric for the summer, like spring, summer, fall type of weather. And it's I was able to do like a little swatch, and I took it out and I redid it a few different times to see what I liked. And this is let's see, which way is it? This is the swatch that I made. It feels a little heavy or chunky. Heavy, I guess, probably would be better. It's not heavy, but it just has it's not the kind of feel that I was going for. I really wanted something light. So this is, I believe it's number 4. Yes, this is a number 4. And so I was just using a bigger hook. This is a 7mm hook. I was using that to hopefully make it more lighter and airy, also with an open stitch, and it still kind of feels heavy. So I'm kind of liking the stitch though. So what I was gonna do is try to stitch in this yarn here, which I was gifted from Pam of Pamela's Creations. So thank you so much, Pam. I'm super excited. So I will link Pam's channel down below. If you haven't checked her out yet, she's awesome. She does crocheting. She also does a lot of different other crafts. She makes stitch markers. She makes tassels. She does paper crafting. She does a whole lot of different things. She always has something new and exciting that she's working on. She does diamond art. She just creations. She is just creating over there some beautiful things. So go check her out if you haven't already. I'll link her down below. All right, so yes, and it's got the sparkle in it. But this is a lightweight 3 yarn, so I was thinking I will use a 6mm hook on this and try out the same stitch pattern that I had come up with and see if that works out a little bit better for me. If not, I guess I'll just go from there. I'm not for sure. So you guys are kind of like coming along with me from the very start of this new cardigan poncho. So what should we call this, guys? I don't know. Is there any way that you can combine cardigan and poncho to make one word? I'm not good with that. So if any of you are and you have suggestions, leave me a comment down below. I'll be excited to hear. And also, I'm gonna get working on this, and maybe I'll have some options for you guys to help me choose, you know, what direction we should go in for this piece right here. All right, so I'm super excited to at least get some progress, you know, started, an idea of um, what I'm going to be doing. So thank you for coming along with me. I appreciate it. So go ahead and grab your whip if you haven't already and get some progress done with me while I figure out what my next whip is going to look like. All right, everyone, here we go. And I made it back, so I went ahead and worked the stitch pattern that I had come up with. And let me see. Alright, so this is what it's looking like, and I like this so much better. This is more of what I had in mind um, compared to this. So I don't know if you might be able to tell what I'm talking about, but you can see how like chunky this feels and kind of weighted down. This is much lighter, and it really the stitch pattern stands out a lot better in this yarn to me than this one here. So since the stitch pattern came out well in this yarn, I am going to go ahead and use this stitch pattern for my design. But I think I'm going to like take some measurements of the stitch pattern and get a better idea of what I need to start. Um, get a better idea of how many stitches and things like that I need to make with it. But I did want to go ahead and share with you all a little bit about charts. So when I was working out what stitch did I want to use, I know I wanted to make it something simple, um, so that we can work on this together and that everybody would feel comfortable doing it, but at the same time give it a little something different that maybe you haven't done before and still, you know, look really really nice. So I think I accomplished that with this. There's just V stitches and double crochets in here, and I think it looks really really nice, and it is a little bit open and kind of lacy, but it's not, it's only like a 2-row repeat, but it's not really different from um, I don't even think it's a 2-row repeat. I think it's a setup row, and then you just do the same thing for each row actually. But I did work, like when I was working it out, you probably not gonna be able to see that, but that's kind of like what I did to figure out the stitches. And then I decided to go ahead and grab some graph paper and actually make a chart of a symbol chart of what the stitch pattern would be. Might not be able to see that, but what I did is I just made a little video of me explaining this to you guys, so hopefully you will stay tuned for that. And I'm just sharing with you the symbols on the chart and what they mean and how to do the stitch pattern, so that way uh, when I come back next week and start this up with you guys, you will know how to do the stitch pattern. And hopefully if you don't know how to read charts, then hopefully I will have explained it well enough for you to get an idea and be able to understand this chart here, at least anyway. So yes. Alright everyone, so I just want to go ahead and share with you all this chart that I made up for the stitch pattern that I'm going to be doing. I thought it might be kind of fun to introduce you guys to, or if you already know how to read charts, to actually follow a chart. So if you don't know how to read charts, then I think this will be a great introduction, because these are very simple stitches, and once I explain, I think you can catch on really really well. So hopefully you all will enjoy this and be able to get some helpful information from it. Alright, so this is the stitch pattern that I made up myself using some simple stitches, and I tried it out with that thinner weight yarn, and I really like it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with this stitch pattern. So I want to write it up and share it with you guys. So first of all, let's go over what these symbols mean. So down here I have like a little symbol chart. So a DC, if you don't know, abbreviation for DC is double crochet. And this is what a double crochet looks like. Alright, so it's just a long T with an extra hash mark on it, and the hash mark represents the yarn over. So something very simple to think about is however many yarn overs you do, you're going to see these little hash marks. So if it was a treble crochet where you have to yarn over twice, it would be a T with 2 hash marks, okay? And that would be a treble crochet. All right, so that is, this one here is the double crochet, and then just this little circle is a chain, and CH is the abbreviation for chain. So if you're ever reading a pattern and you see CH, that means they want you to make a chain. All right. The next one looks a little complicated, but it's very, very simple. I'm sure you all have done this stitch before. And this is just a V-stitch, which is a DC, CH, DC in the same stitch. Now, what is DC, CH, DC? Well, double crochet, chain, double crochet, right? And that's a V-stitch. So we have our T with a hash mark here, leading into this one box, also with a chain, and then the other T, all in the same box, which means they want you to complete this. They want you to complete these stitches in the same stitch, which will create a V-stitch. All right. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all in that same stitch to make the V. Okay. And then the next one we have is a foundation double crochet. So this little thing is the chain, because when you're doing foundation stitches, you make your chains and your stitches all at the same time. And you can pretty much use this for any stitch that you like. So since I'm going to be using foundation double crochets, I have a chain with a T and 1 hash mark for the yarn over, right? Because we yarn over 1 time for a double crochet. Okay, so these are the stitches that we'll be using in this chart. And now we can have a look at our chart. So starting with the very first foundation row, we have all of our double crochets with our chains, which makes a foundation row. So this chart is saying they want you to start off with a foundation row, okay? And then the next part you will see is row 1. So row 1, we're going to be working back in this direction. All right, so how we do this is we chain up 2. Now when you see these little chains off to the side and then you see the actual stitch, that means these chains do not count as a stitch. They're just there to bring you up to the next height, okay? So, and that's why all of this is here. So all of this will be done in that same stitch. So you'll chain 2 and then you'll work a double crochet, right? This is our double crochet symbol. Now this one here is blank because you're going to skip this. So if there's nothing in there, you skip the stitch. All right. So you skip that stitch and then you work a V into the next stitch. Okay. And then right after that, you're going to work a chain. Okay. So as you can see, I have used 2 boxes in height because of their double crochets, and I have only used 1 box in width because I want you to, I want each box to represent 1 stitch, okay? So that's why there's 2 boxes in height, because this is a double crochet. If it was a single crochet or just a chain, I would probably use 1 box, okay? So this is the V-stitch here, right on top of this stitch, and then we chain over this stitch, and we're going to skip that stitch, and then we're going to work a double crochet here and a double crochet here, okay? So I like looking at charts because they tell you exactly where you're going to put your stitch, because sometimes it's like, okay, where do I put this stitch at? So normally a V stitch would have like a space, you know, you skip a space for a V stitch, but I also wanted to do a chain. So right after we do our V, we're going to chain 1. So instead of skipping just 1 stitch for the V, we're actually skipping 2 stitches, okay? So that's why we're going to chain exactly right after we make this V stitch, but then we're going to skip this stitch as well to make up for the V stitch. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we're going to go on and we're going to do a double crochet in the next one and a double crochet in the next, and then we'll chain 1, and then we'll skip that stitch. We're skipping both of these because you're just chaining, and then that's, you're not working a stitch here. And then you do another V, you do a chain, you skip that, and then you do 2 double crochets, chain, skip this next stitch, a V stitch, you chain, you skip this next stitch, 2 double crochets over the next two stitches, you chain, and then you skip this stitch, V stitch, you chain, and then you do a double crochet to end off the stitch pattern. Okay, now row 2 is going to be starting on this side, right? Is where it goes just how we work. So then we chain 2 and work a double crochet, because the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. All right, and what's this symbol here? Let me hear you say. So right, this is our V stitch. We chain 1 and we skip this one, so we're actually skipping 2 stitches, and then we're doing 2 double crochets, chain 1 and skip these 2 stitches here. We're going to do a V stitch, we chain 1, we skip the 2 stitches, we do 2 double crochets, and we chain 1. And actually, when you work this row here, let me rephrase that, when you work this row, it's actually going to be a lot easier, because when you work this row, you're actually going to pretty much do a V stitch in the V stitch from the row below. You'll chain 1, and then you'll work your 2 double crochets right on top of each other. You'll chain 1, and then you work your V stitch and your V stitch. So actually, it's really not that complicated when you are actually doing the stitches. I know it might seem like it when you're looking at this, but when you're actually doing the stitches, the stitch pattern is really easy to catch on. But I like that because now you can actually look at this and know what it means, and it help you to understand charts a little bit more if you haven't had any experience with them already. And I just wanted to, my camera had cut off on me, so I'm running out of space, but I did just want to kind of show you guys how it kind of looks similar. Oops. I don't know if it, oops, I got upside down. Okay. I don't know if you can see like a similarity into like this, what I wrote and what it looks like. But that's really like the beauty of reading charts, because when you have like written instructions, yes, it tells you in words exactly what to do, but sometimes when people word things, everybody reads it in a different way, and can the same, one direction can mean something to a lot of different people. You know what I'm saying? Like it can mean um, something else. However, a chart is it is what it is. Like you look at it and you can see exactly what it is, and it tells you exactly what stitch you're working in, how many stitches to skip, and all of that. So I think this is a better way to do more complicated stitches, because when you read, sometimes you might read too fast and skip something or miss something, or take in the information a little bit differently than what the pattern was trying to explain. So in my own experience, it helps me to do more complicated patterns like cables and other complicated stitch patterns and things like that. And it's just it really allows me to be able to do those patterns a lot easier and a lot faster, because if I'm having to stop and read, then sometimes I lose my place and I have to find out where in that long paragraph that was I, and what step was I in that stitch. But if I can see it here, then I'll know exactly what to do, where to put the stitch, and all of that. And maybe I just need to know how to do the stitch. So if it was like you know a puff stitch, or cluster or a V-stitch or whatever. If I didn't know the steps, then I can go back and read how to do that stitch, and then I'll know where to put the stitch when it's time to put the stitch. So hopefully that made sense to you guys, and hopefully you understand why charts are, you know, a benefit to you as a crocheter, and hopefully you'll give them a try if you haven't already, and if you have, um, hopefully that the one that I made sense and maybe it looks similar to some of the things that you've seen already. So I am very excited about going to get started with this next week. I'm going to do a little um, background work, hopefully if I have time, and see like how long and stuff I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to be using the measurements from the t-shirt. Let me see what's the other. Okay, here it is. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so I think I'm going to be using the measurements. So this right here, everything's going to be worked in one piece. So it's not actually going to be like a sleeve. It's just going to be more of a, um, it's not going to be a sleeve. It's not going to be a defined sleeve. So it'll just kind of hang over that much. So I might not do it quite as long as this. And so I might shorten this up a little bit. And then here, when it comes to here, I'm not going to fill in under the neck area. So I'm not going to be filling this in because we're just going to have the panels, and then here I'll close it up with, you know, just a line of crochet. It'll just be a line of crochet there and there. And so that whole front center is going to be open still under the neck part. So if you have your chart from last time, if you were crocheting with me, you can use these measurements because that's probably where I'm going to get mine from. If you haven't, all I did was measure a t-shirt that I wear, and I just measured the length of the sleeve and the length of the shoulder and the neck area. I'm not going to necessarily need the arm depth because, like I said, it's going to be just one long piece that's going to hang over you. So it's not going to be a fitted sleeve or anything like that. So you'll have plenty of room, and you won't have to worry about that measurement. But yeah, just the top measurements across the top here will be something handy to have where you can make it how you would like and to fit your size. Because I'm just going to be giving my measurements. So if you want to follow along exactly with me, if you're my size or you know somebody my size and you want to gift them the item, I classify myself as like an extra large, so that's probably how I'll, you know, the size I'll be making. So let me see, is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else for right now. It's just going to be, because it's going to be worked all in one piece, and then yes, so the back and the front will be all one piece. So we're going to have a long foundation chain to start off with, or foundation double crochet. We're going to have a long one to start off with, and then at some point we'll put like a stitch marker to mark off the front and the back, and then we'll just keep working like that in rows. And then when we get to the neck, we'll do a little bit of shaping. I have an idea how I want to do that, and I think you guys will like that idea of how I do that. And then I'm just going to come down and, you know, work that front panel. And let's see, I'm sorry, I'm not going on the same side. So then we'll work that one panel, and then we'll be able to so we'll do the back, and then we'll do the back, and then we'll come back up the other side and work the other front. So hopefully that made sense. I know my hands weren't on the same side because this camera is just like crazy, but it throws me off every time. But anyway, that's pretty much all I had to share with you guys. Hopefully you like this stitch pattern. Let me know what you think. It's simple, but it's still very, very pretty. It's easy to work up. Um, it should work up pretty quickly, and I think it will look great for the design that I'm going for. All right, so leave me all your thoughts down below. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you're working on, the progress that you got done, and if you're excited about working this with me next week. Also share about your experience with charts and all of that good stuff. All right, everyone. Thanks again for working with me, and I will see you all in the next one.